We sing for you, we sing for hope, we sing with love, we sing the songs, we sing for you. We are the hope, we are the children, we sing this song with love, we sing for you. We are the silence breaking, the new world made of truth. We sing for you, we sing for hope and wisdom, a clearer vision true. We sing for you.
Welcome to Winterfest, the music and arts festival where we're banishing the winter blues. Proceeds from the festival go to the Winterfest Wellbeing Fund, supporting local people and Mid- and Northeast Essex Mind. Featuring 22 events, check our website, brightlingsea.winterfest.co.uk for full details. And please, make a donation via our PayPal link. Winterfest.
We sing for you, we sing for hope, we sing with love, we sing the songs, we sing for you. We are the hope, we are the children, we sing this song with love, we sing for you. We are the silence breaking, the new world made of truth. We sing for you, we sing for hope and wisdom, a clearer vision true. We sing for you.
Welcome to Winterfest, the music and arts festival where we're banishing the winter blues. Proceeds from the festival go to the Winterfest Wellbeing Fund, supporting local people and Mid and Northeast Essex Mind. Featuring 22 events, check our website, brightlingsea.winterfest.co.uk for full details. And please, make a donation via our PayPal link. Winterfest.
Hello everybody, my name is Jerry Donlan. I'm also known as Bards Aloud. I'm a storyteller and poet living in Suffolk. I'm also a volunteer warden in an ancient wood around Ipswich, and I get a lot of inspiration for my stories and my poetry there. So this afternoon I'm going to do a few poems based on inspiration I got from working and visiting these woods. This first one is about, it's called Grow Strong and Live Long, and I wrote this after we completed sowing 250,000 trees in a place called Ellipsis Market near Colchester about 8 years ago. And as I walked away that evening, it took 5 years to sow all those, and just to see those little trees about that size in the ground, I called them babes in the wood. So this is called Grow Strong and Live Long. Grow strong and live long, young babes of new wood. Be the lungs of this planet in whence I once stood. Though I be a spirit, when your crown be a hood, grow strong and live long, young babes of new wood. Grow hazels, grow ye willow, go, bear catkins galore. For young oak to be mighty, your boughs they must soar. Then acorns for your babes will descend to the floor. Fine roots their anchor for renaissance once more. Grow strong and live long, young babes of new wood. Bear the truth for all those who have misunderstood. Your future is uncertain till all mankind are good. Grow strong and live long, young babes of new wood. Come green man, come ye fairy, come from far distant shore, and regale the young babes with your tales and folklore of Cernunnos, the horned one, who will leap to the fore, should ill will or peril ever lurk at their door. Grow strong and live long, young babes of new wood. So that's my first poem. Now the second one, as well as being a volunteer warden in the wood, I also do a toad patrol every year. And I was out last night, and we got 6 toads last night. We go down to a little lane in Ipswich, and we pick up these toads in buckets, and we got high vises on and torches and all that.
Mhm.
And I was on a morning shift. We do 2 hours before sunrise and 2 hours after sunset. And I was there about 6:30 in the morning a few years ago. And I watched this, something I described as, at the time, it was like a coil of chicken wire, but it was a coil of mist. And I thought to myself, you know, I must do a story about this. And I did. And I invented a word. It's called the Womist, Womist. It's about a beautiful woman from the neck up, and it's a coil of mist on the way down. So this is what I wrote. While walking in an ancient wood, your eyes keep open wide, for here is where the woman sometimes tries to hide. She dashes through the dawning dew with ferns on her wrist, awakening woodland flora while dispersing magic mist. And when you see a bluebell, a snowdrop or primrose, beware, for this is where her energy flows. And if you see the wombest on the fallen tree, be silent, be still, believe, or she will surely flee. She travels twixt the dark and light, twixt morning and the night, searching for a fallen tree, with her trunk held upright. With its crown pointing towards the east, that tree is what she seeks to dwell upon. Tonight is gone, till first rays of dawn peaks. Her eyes are of the bluest blue, her lips are of cherry hue, her hair all colours of the rainbow, and braids of dazzling dew. Many spirits tease our woodland trees and ease them to the fore, but no creature, bar a womist, could so enhance a woodland floor. So that's my one about the womist, and this is the one I wrote about 12 years ago for Radio Suffolk. I did this live in the wood. Radio Suffolk were the first in Britain, as far as we remember, to introduce something called Don't Be a Tosser. It was to try and get people to stop chucking litter about in woods and streets and things. So they asked me if I'd do a little poem for them then. So I wrote this. This is called Where Litter Lies. I walked into an ancient wood. It was just the other day. My heart was filled with wonder, the beauty on display. In awe of the catkin hazel, the birch and the willow tree, my eyes danced all around, my heart was filled with glee. I saw the wood anemones and the bluebells bursting through. Little birds were singing, and I recognized a few. The magic and the wonder of this wood I'd found, till I saw piles of litter scattered on the ground. The magic of the moment had suddenly disappeared, with a heap of dirty litter waiting to be cleared. Let's rid our woods of tossers and unplug the litter bug. Make those caught tossing litter spend 4 weeks in the jug. Where litter lies, beauty dies. Yes, beauty dies where litter lies. So I'm on to my last one now, and this is an autumnal one. I was sitting beneath a tree in October in Springwood one year, and I watched the leaf just come swirling down. And I call this leaf susurration. This day I walk amongst the trees in a little wood that's keen to please each passing soul that takes their ease beneath the swirling falling leaves. When peace of mind I have found, I listen for a tiny sound, a whisper from a leaf earthbound, gently falling to autumn ground. I listen as the leaves do fall, for a voice should it call, from the mighty oak standing tall, from where some whispering leaves do fall. I listen to the leaf of ash, while it makes its final dash to a floor of mulch and hash. No more this leaf a gale will lash. I listen and stare as boughs grow bare, as swirling leaves disappear from their homes for another year, falling softly in the autumn air. And as I watch the leaves descend, a sea of colours mingle and blend into a jumble of hue and tint, like a crock of gold at the rainbow's end. I strain my ear to the birch near bare. In dim sunshine, its sparse leaves glare and glisten in the moisture there, before relenting to the autumn fair. Oh, I beseech thee, leaf of beech, a susurrus, so that I may teach and reveal to all that are out of reach, and blind to Mother Nature's leash. So that's my lot for this afternoon.
My name's Mike Masterson. One thing I quite like is limericks. So here's a couple of those. One I wrote a little while ago, but again seems sort of, actually I wrote this when the last of our kids left home, but it seems appropriate again. Now we're stuck indoors a lot together. So it's called The Island of Just Us Together. Here it goes. The island of just us together is a place we're about to discover. Washed up by the sea, we'll find you and me, and our shelter will be each other. Second limerick. This is, I actually went in the garden and saw a couple of dandelions the other day. I love dandelions and think that, you know, if they didn't grow so easily on their own, we'd be planting them. They look great. So this is my ode to the dandelion. It's called Dandelion. Here we go. What's wrong with the dandelion? Sun-bright flowers and little stars flying. So why feel the need to call them a weed? Because they challenge us. Strong like lions.
Hello, my name's Ian Brown. I live in Colchester and I'm part of the Ellipsis Writing Group. This is a little short piece that I wrote some time ago to the theme of revival. We are doing a project on revival, and this is my piece. It's called Tea. Cup of char, lads. Private Williams, known as Grub to his fellow soldiers, made his way delicately through the trench carrying a German helmet containing 4 steaming mugs of dark-coloured liquid. Jerry's quiet tonight, he added, addressing no one in particular. Around him, men were engaged in a variety of activities, playing cards, penning letters to loved ones, smoking, or examining sodden and blistered feet. He placed the helmet on a step carved into the side of the trench, next to his rifle. The helmet listed to one side, and tea slopped over the side of the 2 cracked enamel mugs. "Come and get it," he shouted, taking one of the drinks from the helmet. He blew into the mug, sending small ripples across the surface of the tea before taking a noisy slurp. "Oi, grub, you noisy bugger," came a voice from further down the trench. "Keep the noise down. Some of us are trying to sleep." "Trying to bash the bishop, more like," came another voice. Laughter rippled along the trench as a dozen or so men momentarily forgot the hell around them and made a connection. "I hope your tea's better than your singing, Grub, my boy," teased one of the men. "You were bloody murdering all things bright and beautiful yesterday. All things dark and miserable, more like. I hope God wasn't listening. He'd be crying into his beard." More laughter. Grub blushed. He took his faith seriously and was often the butt of the others' jokes for doing so. He looked up at the clear, star-speckled sky and said a silent prayer to the heavens. He wondered how long the lull in the fighting would last. He had learned not to get too complacent, as often several hours of quiet just meant more intense shelling when the hostilities started again. He gazed into his tea, watching the steam rise, and then moved the mug around in a circular motion, creating a small whirlpool effect. Putting it to his lips, he downed the foul-tasting brew in one long swig. He exhaled, his breath steaming in the cold night air, and despite the bitter taste, allowed himself to savour the moment. He lived for small pleasures, creating rituals to get him through each desperate day. Right now, the momentary sense of revival that the tea brought him made him feel that for just a few short seconds, he was holding the hand of God. Thank you.
Hello, Brightlingsea. I think I made a bit of a fool of myself before because I didn't have my sound switched on, but hopefully you can all hear me now. So anyway, yes, welcome at Brightlingsea, or wherever you may be. This is the music and spoken word afternoon, and as you have just had some spoken word, I'll just point out we have sort of 3 main areas where people are coming from for that, which is Essex Storytellers, and then we have the Ellipsis Creative Writing Group, who are based in Colchester, and it includes my sister, see if you can spot her. And we also have like a member of the Winterfest crew who also, we got some doing spoken word. One was there in the middle, Limerick Man. And we also have, coming up next, what we have is one of our Winterfest people who is a husband and wife team. And normally speaking, Melanie would be organising music in the library with her pupils, who's a piano teacher, and normally David would be singing with the Motley Crew and doing all the sea shanties, but we've managed to find one sea shanty for you, and they've done a few other songs, so here we go.
So this next song is an old Tom Lehrer song, for those of you who are old enough to remember Tom Lehrer. We're not. Honest, although we have now been vaccinated. That'll give you a clue. Right, this is Poisoning Pigeons in the Park.
But we like pigeons, really. Yeah, and squirrels. Yeah.
Spring is here, spring is here. Life is skittles and life is beer. I think the loveliest time of the year is the spring. I do, don't you? Of course you do. But there's one thing that makes spring complete for me, and makes every Sunday a treat for me. All the world seems in tune on a spring afternoon as we're poisoning pigeons in the park. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me as we poison the pigeons in the park. When they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, but they still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. The sun's shining bright, everything seems alright as we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We've notoriety and caused much anxiety in the Audubon Society with our games. They call it impiety and lack of propriety and quite a variety of unpleasant names. But it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon. So if Sunday you're free, why don't you come with me and we'll poison a pigeon in the park? And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two as we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We'll murder them all amid laughter and merriment, except for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine we give to a pigeon. It just takes a smidgen to poison a pigeon in the park. No pigeons were harmed in the making of this song. This next song is an old Frank Sinatra standard called All the Way. When somebody loves you, it's no good unless he loves you. All the way, happy to be near you when you need someone to cheer you. All the way, taller than the tallest tree is. That's how it's got to feel. Deeper than the deep blue sea is. That's how deep it goes if it's real. And when somebody needs you, it's no good unless he needs you. All the way, through the good or lean years and through all the in-between years, come what may. Who knows where the road will lead us? Only a fool would say. But if you'll let me love you, it's for sure I'm gonna love you. All the way, all the way. Going back even further in time now, this is a 1940 song called A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square. When two lovers meet in Mayfair, so the legends tell, songbirds sing, winter turns to spring. Every winding street in Mayfair falls beneath its spell. I know such enchantment can be upside down. The streets of town were paved with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And as we kissed and said good night, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I know 'cause I was there that night in Berkeley Square. Just recently, the album that this next song comes from marked its 50th birthday. The album is Tapestry by Carole King, and this is probably the best known song from the album, You've Got a Friend. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing, no, nothing's going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You got a friend. If the sky above you falls dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud, and soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend, when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and desert you, they'll take your soul if you let them up, don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, running, yeah, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You got a friend, yeah, you got a friend. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Oh, I wish I was a cabin boy on board a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Yes, I wish I was a cabin boy on board a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Oh, I wish I was a bosun aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Yes, I wish I was a bosun aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Oh, I wish I was a sawbones aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Yes, I wish I was a sawbones aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Oh, I wish I was a captain aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Yes, I wish I was the captain aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Oh, I wish I was the shanty man aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Yes, I wish I was the shanty man aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Oh, I wish I was a hero aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Oh, I'll never be a hero aboard a man of war. Hey! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war.
Well, wasn't that wonderful, hey? That's the motley crew, which, as you saw, David Bridle is a part of. And, yeah, well, you know, with, what's it, TikTok and sea shanties now getting, 3 billion views on TikTok for one sea shanty? You know, in the words of Rodney, and the words of Del Boy, I mean, here, next year, Rodney, we could be millionaires. So, anyway, pressing straight on, we have now got some more spoken word for you. So I'm pressing straight on. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Robert Miller and I'm part of the Ellipsis Writing Group, and I'm going to read my story, The Red Brick Path. When we first came across the brick path, we didn't recognise it for what it was. Me and my brother Jake, with his head of tousled rust-brown hair, were walking along the edge of the cliff, looking out over a wind-ripped sea when we came across the path. It was very distinctive, only about a foot wide and made of long, narrow red bricks held together with dark mortar. Where it started, we didn't know. We could see it going a long way off into the distance until it was covered by short, bushy undergrowth. Where it ended was readily apparent at the edge of the cliff, just like it had been snapped off. We went home for tea and mentioned it to our mum, who was a member of the local history society. A red brick path, she said. I'd never heard of that. Did you take a picture? Neither of us had thought to do so, so we went back the following day to take one. But could we find that path? We walked for what seemed like miles along the edge of the cliff and couldn't find a trace of it. Mum asked some of her local friends, but nobody had heard of such a thing. So we just forgot about it and got on with our boyhood. 20 or so years later, after having left home, my brother and I met up once more at the house. Our mum was seriously ill and wasn't expected to live much longer. We chatted to her, but it was clear that she had no energy, so we left her to rest. Our sister was there too, so we decided to leave her with Mum and to pass some time by going for a walk. We found ourselves walking along the familiar cliff-top path, and there it was, the red brick path, just as we had seen it all those years ago. The sun was setting, and for a moment it threw a glistening beam across the path, lighting it up as a silver thread which, in one direction, led off into the distance, and in the other led to the cliff edge. But then it kept going, as if the coastline at this point had never eroded away, and we could see the path continue over the cliffs on the other side of the narrow bay. Cats are kicking up a fuss. Then the angle of the sun changed minutely and the path disappeared from sight. This time we were well equipped. We both had mobile phones, which we gleefully employed, taking pictures and videos of every part of the path we could see. We remembered how we had been unable to relocate the path all those years ago. So we set down markers made of little heaps of stones and waited for the sun to fade until the path became invisible. We'd set off for home with the satisfied feeling of a job well done. We arrived at the house to be greeted by a distressed sister. "She's gone," she wept, and all thoughts of the red path evaporated from our minds. The house was sold, and we got on with living our busy adult lives. I was now 60 and newly retired from my profession as a surveyor. It had been a good career, but now I was ready to leave behind the pressure of contracts and timelines and unreliable customers. Now and then I thought of my mother's house and the walks along the cliff top I had had with my brother. He had died unexpectedly of a brain tumour 2 years before. He still had his head of tousled rust-brown hair. One day I motored up from my flat in town to refresh my memory of the place. I needed somewhere to live in my retirement, somewhere that was good for the soul. My career had been successful, but my marriage had not. The house stood as I remembered it, though it was closer to the cliff edge than I recalled. I walked along the cliff-top path, which was still as it was from my memories all those years ago. I fantasized about seeing the red brick path, but there was no sign of it, though I carried on walking to enjoy the crisp air in my lungs. On my way back, the sun was low in the sky, and I noticed a long shadow cast from a small cairn. It looked oddly familiar. Then I remembered the little pile of stones I and my brother had made to mark the location of the red brick path. Around the cairn, there was a dense mat of leafy vegetation. I went down on my knees and started to clear the leaves away. And there it was, the mysterious red brick path. I rapidly uncovered several feet of it and was oblivious to the presence of a dog walker who had come along the path and was watching my activities with some amusement. When eventually I did look up, she spoke. "Ah, the red brick path. Not many people know it's there. Most of the time it gets covered by sandworks. Roman bricks, you know, but not built by Romans. Too many curves. Who built it and why they built it, I don't know. Not sure anyone else does either." I stood up and brushed down my knees and made to respond, but the walker just gave me a kind of salute with one hand and carried on leading their dog along the cliff-top path. What had once been my mother's house came up for sale shortly after my excursion, and I decided to buy it and to make it my place of retirement. I had some problems selling my flat, too many ups and downs to be worth relating. At last, a chain cohered, and we were able to agree an exchange date, and I made preparations to move into the old house. Then an email arrived from my solicitor, marked, "Please read immediately." There had been a cliff fall, and half the old house had crumbled into the sea. I motored down to the site in considerable dismay, and saw that not only the house, but much of the red brick path had fallen down to the shore. I am now living in a house on the other side of the bay. It has a large garden, through which runs a long stretch of the red brick path, which has somehow come to hold so many memories.
Hi, my name's Doug Suter. I'm one of the founding members of Ellipsis when I lived in Colchester. Sadly, I now live up in Edinburgh, but it's still wonderful to be part of such a great group. I've often thought that British Prime Ministers are very adept at lying. And so I wrote a couple of stories, one about Tony Blair and one about David Cameron. I've tried writing a third one about Boris Johnson, but there are so many lies to choose from. So I'm going to read you the first of these stories. It's called The Noble Lie, Weapons of Mass Destruction. It was warm in here, he thought, but comfortable, cocoon-like, and he did like a good crap. Just sitting here, escaping all life's pressures. Peace. His elbows rested on his knees, digging in a little, but not uncomfortably. His head felt snug on his hands, pressed against his cheekbones. He strained, farted, and sighed. He sang softly to himself. By the time I got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong. He'd heard that Joni Mitchell classic on the car radio this morning and just couldn't shake off the melody. He'd finished now, but lingered, enjoying his solitude. He farted again and mused. I can do it. I can. I must. I have to take a stand. War is wrong, plain and simple. The just war arguments were a pile of shit. How could I have fallen for all that nonsense? But what had led to this Satori, this Damascus Road realization that everything he'd believed was right, he now realized was wrong? Probably he'd never truly believed it, but had somehow kept up his gung-ho, demonized Saddam rhetoric as a sort of macho front for all those that expected it of him. What passing bells for those who die as cattle? His son had recently asked him for help with his English homework. They were doing the war poets, Owen, Sassoon and all that. He remembered that first line of the anthem for doomed youth and had sat late into the night rereading all the weary, passionate and bloodied words that brought out the utter futility, immorality and horror of war. Was that it? Or had all those agonized anthems just brought his true feelings back to the surface? Whatever it had been, he had to do something, to speak out from his newfound heart. His colleagues and the American cousins would never understand or forgive him, but they would just have to resign themselves to his change of heart. Resign himself, that was definitely it. I can do it. Embrace my mistakes, backtrack, U-turn, be true to my conscience, flush all the crap away. He sang to himself again. I dreamed I saw the bombers flying shotgun in the skies, turning into butterflies upon our nation. Yeah, right on, he thought. He looked around him. The whole bathroom was immaculate, thanks to a recent designer makeover. Away from the real world, this was where he liked to think and formulate all his big ideas. Maybe that's why some of them turned out crap, he chuckled. He pulled down exactly 4 squares of soft white luro, folded them neatly, adjusted his dangling shirt sleeve and wiped his arse. Standing, he pulled up his trousers, buttoned up, zipped his flies, and fastened his belt. And with a satisfied glance down at his production, he closed the lid. His fingers paused above the flush button. Single or duo, he pondered. An imperious knock on the door broke into his onerous dilemma. Prime Minister, your WMD press conference is only 45 minutes away. Did you read that stuff I gave you about Plato and the noble lie? Thank you.
Well, hello, chaps. We've just had a few little problems, technical problems, getting the next guy sorted out. Stuart is about to start pretty soon, so I've just got to message him and everything, so that if you just give me a moment, and we will get him on. We'll get him on now.
I'm Stuart Skinner. I'll play you a few songs and we'll see how we get on. Apparently I'm in portrait. Fire the engine, cars running, closing the door. The tires eating the miles, heading towards your port. Send up a signal, flare the lights of the sky, illuminating the aisles. Heart is begging the question why. White send up a signal, like longing to hold his hand. You've been too long from this company, you wanted more from this man. He knows that he's foolish, he knows you're burning before. The slave he bows to his yearning, he's ready to take a fall. But his mind escapes through parallels, try as he might, can't dispel the feeling this could lead to something more. And now he's tried so hard to disassure no feelings here we worked it through, but 3 and 2 just don't add up to 4. Send up a signal, you're longing to kill some time, looking for some consolation. You know we can make it alright. You know how he wants you, you know he's wanting much more. You told him he's chasing the rumor, friends are sitting nothing more. But his mind escapes through parallels, try as he might, can't dispel the feeling this could lead to something more. And now he's tried so hard to disassure no feelings here we worked it through. 3 and 2 just don't add up to 4. Standing there waiting for you to answer the door. Your figure looms in the opaque, in a pensive moment we pose. Says how you doing, where you been, what's up, getting fine. You're moving closer together, the perfect moment entwined. Conversation is flowing as the sparks they bounce back and forth. Innuendo fueling the fire, the same old dances repeat. Sense how he wants you, you lost yourself in his eyes. Your panic raised the defenses, a crucial moment denied. But his mind just skips through parallels, try as he might, can't dispel the feeling this could lead to something more. Now I try so hard to deal with you. No feelings here we working through. 3 and 2 just don't add up to 4. They don't add up too far. 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 Woo. Can I drop volume slightly? Can I indeed? So the out, I'm guessing that's going to be that a little bit. Any better? Right. Well, even these are the time, huh? So, I'm going to play you a different song now. Jeff asked me to play this one, and hopefully he's listening now. Hey, you got a distant look in your eye. Hey, you're feeling blue and you don't know why. Hey, can't seem to win no matter how you try. Hey, it's got you down and you wanna cry. You've been staring out that window, waiting for your ship to come in, waiting for the answers of which a better day might bring. I don't wanna see you crying, never wanna see you ever give in. So I'll always be here waiting for the love of you. For the love of you. Hey, no need to run, there's no need to hide. Hey, you ever need it, here's my shoulder to cry. Hey, I'm never leaving, always by your side. Hey, you know I mean it, no I never lie. Because you to me, you're everything I need. And I'd do anything, I give the stars, the moon, the sea. You're the ground beneath my feet. You're the very air I breathe. I said I'd do anything. You know I'd do anything. Yes, I'd do anything for the love of you. 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 Woo! That's a song about stuff, in tradition of songs about stuff. Oh. I'm going to play you another song about stuff. Slightly different stuff. What can I say to make this right? A series of words worn out and tired. We spoke of the truth, I told no lies. Got nothing to prove, nothing to hide. You're the only one who gets this close, the only one who gets the best from me. There's no one else who gets this near. You're the only one who sees the best in me. We both had our lives ruled by fear. What's in the past is best left there. Others have been but long since gone. There's less to rest to move us on. You're the only one who gets this close, the only one who sees the best in me. There's no one else who gets this near, the only one that gets the best from me. You and I have been running round in circles, chasing our fears and self-denials. You and I need our heads banging together, better now than maybe never. The only one who gets this close, the only one who sees the best in me. There's no one else who gets this near. You're the only one that gets the best from me. The only one. Right. This is my long overdue next single. Every gig I've done in about the last 9 months, I've said I'm going to release this next month. It's going to happen one day. It's called Healing Water. Oh, my healing water, I long to drink of you tonight. Oh, my healing water, pour yourself on me tonight. You know I long to love you. You know I'll always hold you. You know my love is watertight. And slip into your water. I feel you rise around my sides. You set you all a quiver. You know I long to love you. You know I'll always hold you. You know my love is watertight. Oh, my healing water. I long to drink of you tonight. Oh, my healing water. I long to drink of you tonight. Oh, my healing water. Pour yourself on me tonight. You know I long to love you. You know I'll always hold you. You know my love is watertight. Oh, my healing water. I long to drink of you tonight. Every minute. So weird. Even if it does look like it's just one person watching you, you still say thank you very much. Thank you for listening and watching, and apologies for the portraitness. It's going to be my last song. Enjoy the rest of the acts. This is the first song off my first album, and it is Turn Me Around. So the signs and noise they try to realize to meet the challenge set by you. The only problem is that I can never be just another dumb player on this fucking machine. We live in times where people criticize you, scrutinize and try to sterilize you. Just a feeling little different to them. Now I couldn't be heard, now I should be seen. I'm living in the lost and found. Whoa, no, you're never gonna turn me around. I'm living in the lost and found. Whoa, no, you're never gonna turn me around. Standing out, standing away from the crowd in my Harlem sleeve and my head held proud. I said I don't wanna be, said I'm not gonna be you. I said I really don't believe I find you so hard to see. It's not right, this constant criticizing. So my life you should be meddling. I walk my walk, to talk my talk, and I really don't believe you got the right to complain. I'm living in the lost and found. Whoa, no, you're never gonna turn me around. I'm living in the lost and found. Whoa, no, never gonna turn me around. living in the lost and found. Oh no, you're never gonna turn me around. I'm living in the lost and found. Oh no, you're never gonna turn me around. Oh no, you're never gonna turn me around. Oh no, you're never gonna turn me around. Oh no, you're never gonna turn me Thank you very much. Thanks to Jev for looking after me and Winterfest for having me again. Maybe see you in person next year.
Well, thank you, Stuart. Wasn't that wonderful? And right, well, we have. Don't go anywhere, people. We've got some more spoken word coming up in just a moment, and then after that, we've got a guy who's new to Winterfest. So I hope you give him a nice big Winterfest welcome. And he's he's a multi-instrumentalist. I met him at jam nights. He's drums, and he plays guitar and he plays bass. But he also is a bit of a crooner, and he's gonna sing you a whole load of your Frank Sinatra favourites. So that'll be coming up after this spoken word, and I will let the spoken word people introduce themselves. And here we go.
Hi, my name's Toby Peacock and I'm part of the Ellipsis Writing Group. I'm going to read an excerpt from a story that I'm working on, and I've given it the working title of Heron Cove. Ryan watched as Oliver Shelby topped up the tank of his Renault Traffic with refined vegetable oil. "Will that get me to Bordertown and home again?" he asked, pulling a roll of euros from his back pocket. Shelby, a short, stocky man in blue overalls, screwed up his face. "I hope so, for your sake." Ryan pressed the cash into his oily palm. "It's 20 short, I know, but I've got 40 eggs and a litre of goat's milk in the van for you." Oliver nodded, then gathered up the empty containers before heading back across the forecourt. Ryan opened the big double doors at the back of the van and took out the eggs and milk. As he followed Oliver towards the rickety weatherboard sail loft where he had his workshop, Oliver's wife, Rebecca, appeared from the other side of the building with a wooden club roughly hewn as a baseball bat. "Here, keep this in the cab," she said, as they made the clumsy exchange, Rebecca tucking the weapon under Ryan's arm as he handed over the eggs and milk. Ryan climbed into the van, slipping the club out of sight between the seat and the door. He paused for a moment, stroking his 3-day-old stubble. He was genuinely touched by Rebecca's gesture, but it unsettled him. The last thing he really needed right then was a reality check. He turned the key in the ignition, and after a few attempts, the van shuddered into life. Despite the assurances that the fuel conversion would be fine, the engine coughed and convulsed like a 40-a-day smoker in the final throes. But Ryan was patient, and sure enough, as if needing time to adjust its palate to a new food, the engine settled. And once it was purring nicely, he eased his foot down onto the accelerator and pulled out from the forecourt and onto the potholed road that led west towards Great Withering and Bill Cathedral's yard. On the approach to the village, Ryan passed the derelict railway station where he could still see the mangled and rusting wreckage of the last commuter train poking out from the buddleirs and the crumbling brick of the station wall. Behind the engine, one carriage remained, where he could just make out yellow curtains and a flower box full of pansies and petunias just below one of the windows. The story went that the last 2 commuters, who were in their early 20s at the time, still lived there. A romance had been budding in the final weeks before the city finally turned out its lights, and on the last Friday, when the 1843 ran into the buffers, they just didn't bother to get off. Ryan took these stories with a pinch of salt, but he was intrigued by the way nature seemed to be re-exerting itself, not just the buddleia from the brickwork, but the Virginia creeper that cloaked the derelict ticket office, and the moss that clung, seemingly against all odds, to the windscreen of the stricken engine. Bill Cathedral's yard was just beyond the station. The security guard came out and helped Ryan reverse in. Then, after they loaded the van with antique furniture, the guard pointed to 2 sealed boxes at the back of the warehouse, each the size of a case of wine. Not that Ryan had actually seen a case of wine in a very long time. "Take special care of these little beauties," said the guard. "Your passport to paradise, apparently." Ryan picked up one of the boxes. "What are they?" The guard shrugged. "Fuck knows. No one tells me anything, but I know they're worth more than the rest put together." They squeezed the boxes into the van, slammed the doors, and watched as rust showered from the bodywork. "Good luck," said the guard with a wry smile. "Looks like you'll need it." There were no speed restrictions on the main northern drag, but weaving through an obstacle course of craters and the shredded tyres kept Ryan to a maximum of 50. Not a bad thing if half of what he heard was true. Tales of shadowy creatures crawling from garbage-strewn verges, massing around stranded vehicles like hyenas on exhausted antelopes, towing them back to their clans or stripping them clean at the roadside. And for the drivers who didn't leg it fast enough, well, the buzzards circling high above Ryan's head paid testament to that. He'd only have to burst a tyre or break an axle and he'd be finished. There were other vehicles on the road, but no one would ever stop to help. It was certainly true that to pose as a stranded motorist was a trick pulled too often, and that now no one trusted anyone. There was honour of sorts between lorry drivers, but they were rare beasts, the roads no longer in any state to withstand their cumbersome rigs. A passing biker would be the best bet, because, like the lorry drivers, they seemed to have clung on to at least a notion of doing the right thing. As he took the big arc around Techland just before Route 11 merged from the west, a banner emblazoned with the letters EAR fluttered down from a lifeless gantry. The gantry, a dinosaur of a structure, once warned drivers of delays and diversions, but now its rusting steel sections strained under strapping limbs of wisteria. In May, when Ryan had last driven this route, he had marvelled at the blue and purple foliage dripping down onto the carriageway. Now, with autumn on its way, this slow-motion clash of elements was being played out in plain view high above the carriageway. The banner twitched as air, rancid with old chip fat, was sucked into the vacuum left by a high cider coming in the opposite direction. It sent a shudder through Ryan. "Someone walk on your grave?" a voice said. It was his gran. She was full of valuable little snippets like that when she was alive. Hungry for distraction, Ryan leant down to retrieve the CDs he'd selected for the trip. He craned his neck so he could just see over the dashboard. He felt around with his left hand, his movements getting ever more frantic as he realised that his bag, packed with bread, goat's cheese and a collection of his favourite music, was still at home on the kitchen table. He straightened awkwardly and crashed both palms into the steering wheel. "Fuck!" he yelled, so loud it hurt his throat. Ryan pressed the eject on the dashboard player and Beat Me by Gwen Solar slid out. Screwing up his face, he slipped it back into the player. He liked Gwen Solar, he really did, but it always reminded him of Caitlin, who left while the ferries were still sailing from Liverpool. He discovered the disc in his player only hours after she'd left, and played it every day for the next 2 years. And even now, he occasionally wondered whether she still kept a place on her rack for the empty CD case. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jeeves Lefos, and I've been part of the Ellipsis group on and off for about the past 11 years. I think one of the others has mentioned that we've been meeting over Zoom for the past 12 months or so. And what we've been doing is using random sentences we found in books as a writing prompt. This piece was inspired by the words I expected something clownish, and it imagines the perils of internet dating. I've called it Love Me Tinder. I expected something clownish, GSOH you said, but you've brought your bone collection and alt-right views instead. You lied about your height, your weight, you played me for a fool. I want to run out screaming, but look, we're playing pool. We spoke of plays and culture, you'd made yourself sound rich. Now is that culture actually the green mold inside your fridge? I expected something clownish. I hoped for someone sweet. The only clownish thing I see, pink Crocs and size 12 feet.
Hello, I'm Jeff. I'm also part of the Ellipsis group, and I've written something, not certain what it is, but it's called The Wild Ware. Motorbikes, laden like prospectors' mules. 32-ton diesel-powered covered wagons. Riders all wary of blue-painted Indians. Garish, neon-lit watering hole. Meeting place of tribes where burly beer bellies are restrained by overalls and young, wire-sharp bodies are held together by leather. Company logos compete with gaudy patches. Crash helmets cry for attention like prize melons. These are today's trappers and traders, the hard-riding cowboys of the motorway. Mountainous breakfasts for mountainous men, supplied by happy, harried waitresses. A nudge here, a spill there, but nothing breaks, except smiles. An outsider strolls in, unnoticed, his racehorse amongst the wagons and ponies in the park. Only the sheriff would warrant attention. Helmets are jammed over long hair, and a blue-black crowd drifts outside like a puff of diesel smoke in the morning air. After here, they're back on the solitary trail. Carbon monoxide their wind, triplex safety their sky. Still pushing back the frontiers so us settlers can follow. Times may change, men merely adapt. Thank you.
Right, thank you. The Essex Storytellers there. Not the Essex, no, sorry. It was Ellipsis. I'm getting my words waddled. Right, well, without further ado, I'll just tell you about this guy. Well, his name is Barry, really, but everyone knows him as Buzz, and he is great. He's a really nice chap. He used to be a London taxi driver, so he's one of those guys, you know, he can be telling a story over his shoulder while he's driving, or while he's drumming, or while he's doing anything else, you know. But anyway, here he is, and if you like a bit of Frank Sinatra, you're going to love this.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Brightlingsea Music Festival and Spoken Word. My name's Buzz, and I'm going to be entertaining you for about 20 minutes or so, approximately, doing some old Frank Sinatra stuff. And we're going to kick off with a classic that I'm sure everybody will know. Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in Far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's fly up in the blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, well, we'll just glide, so starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near, and you may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together, weather-wise such a lovely day. You just say the words and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, well, we'll just glide so starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near, and you may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together, weather-wise it's such a lovely day. You just say the words and we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly. Pack up your bags, fly away. How about a bit of witchcraft? Those fingers in my hair, that sly come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft. And I've got no defense for it, the heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's big taboo, when you arouse a need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but one I wouldn't switch, 'cause there's no nicer witch than you. It's witchcraft, that wicked old witchcraft. And although I know it's taboo, when you arouse a need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but one I'd never switch, 'cause there's no nicer witch than you. That's 2 songs. We've got more coming. Just hold on there. Don't go anywhere. You may have noticed by the miracles of modern technology, my hat has gone to black. It's a black trilby. Anyway, let's start again. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write words oh so sweet, they're gonna knock me off my feet. A lot of kisses at the bottom, I'll be glad I got 'em. I'm gonna smile and say I hope you're feeling better, and I'll close the way I do for you. Yes, I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'll be glad I got 'em. I'm gonna smile and say, I hope you're feeling better, and close with love the way you do. Yes, I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe that it came, though I know it's not the same. Yes, I'll make believe that it came from you. It's such a great, fun song. I thought I'd include it this afternoon. It's called Goody Goody. So here we go. So you met someone who set you back on your heels. Goody goody. So you met someone and now you know how it feels. Goody goody. So you gave him your heart too, just as I gave mine to you. And he broke it in little pieces. Just how did he do? You lie awake just singing the blues all night. Goody goody, and you think that love's a barrel of dynamite. Hooray and hallelujah, you had it coming to you. A goody goody for him, goody 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 for you. And I hope you're satisfied, you rascal you. You met someone who set you back on your heels. Goody goody. So you met someone and now you know how it feels. Goody goody. Well, you gave him your heart too, just as I gave mine to you. And he broke it in little pieces. Now how do you do? You lie awake just singing the blues all night. Goody goody, and you think that love's a barrel of dynamite. Hooray and hallelujah, you sure had it coming to you. A goody goody for him, goody 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 for me. And I hope you're satisfied, you rascal you. Yes, I hope you're satisfied, you rascal you. I'm sure everybody's going to recognize this tune here. You make me feel so young. You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I want to go play hide and seek. I want to go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across the meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today. 'Cause you make me feel so young. You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, well, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I want to go play hide and seek. I want to go and bounce the moon just like that toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across the meadow and picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, yes, I'm gonna feel the way I do today. 'Cause you make me feel so young, so young. You make me feel so young. How about finishing off with the lady? The lady's a tramp. She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. Loves the theater and she never comes late. She never bothers with those people she hates. That's why the lady is a tramp. Doesn't do crap games with no barons or earls. Won't go to Harlem in ermine and pearls. Won't dish the dirt with the rest of the girls. That's why the lady is a tramp. She likes the free Fred, wind in her hair, and life without care. She's broke, but it's oak. Hey, it's California, it's so cold and it's bad. That's why the lady is a tramp. Gets far too hungry to wait for her dinner at 8. Just loves the theater and she'll never come late. She never bothers with those people she hates. That is why the lady is a tramp. Won't do no crap games with those sharpies and frauds. Won't go to Harlem in no Lincolns or Fords. Won't dish the dirt with the rest of the broads. That is why the lady is a tramp. She loves the free, fresh wind in her hair and life without care. She's broke, but it's hates California. It's cold and it's damp. That's why the lady, that is why the lady, that's why the lady is a tramp. Well, that's my lot. Goodbye, and thank you for viewing and listening to the Brightlingsea Music Festival and Spoken Word. Bye-bye.
Well, wasn't that great? Great stuff there, Buzz. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to move things straight on. We've got plenty more for you. We've got some more spoken word coming up now. And, well, it's easier for me to just let them introduce themselves. So let's get straight on with it.
I'm Nikki Cottington. I'm a member of the Ellipsis Writing Group. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote on the occasion of the wedding of a couple of dear friends of mine. The Pursuit of Love, a wedding poem by Nikki Cottington. Like a fresh current, love rushes in, lifting every step higher, scattering damp kisses on the shoots of spring, bursting through. More cautious in the summer haze, love winds slowly, like a line across my palm, the familiar curve of a path for two. Weaving through the loose set leaves, love scampers on over ground littered with autumn clutter, scrambling the mosaic, made anew. Soft against the winter frost, love wraps tightly round warm hearts that have found their shelter, still and true.
My name's Mike Matheson. This is my next poem. It's called Pride. This one, it's about pride. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. See what you think. Pride often likes the wrong thing, the thing you aspired to that wasn't you, not the thing you could do. To teach, maybe, to nurse, to care, to make do. For some, it's putting a wish into a child. For some, it's putting an Edwardian great in front of their country. When what we need is the great we put into the praise of a simple action, a good cup of tea or a cake. Pride can be like a birthday balloon, blown up to celebrate, rather than the warm, simple light on a small table in a corner of a room that's otherwise dark.
Good afternoon, I'm Jan Williams and I have been a teacher, a storyteller and an author. This afternoon I'm wearing my storytelling hat and the story I'm going to tell you is a Welsh one because tomorrow is St. David's Day, so it's appropriate. Now, the story I'm going to tell you is called Sean the Took and Cerys the Beautiful. Now, you might wonder what the word took means. Well, it means somebody who's not terribly bright. Well, poor old Sean, he wasn't awfully bright, poor boy. He couldn't build his brick walls. He couldn't keep his records straight. And I hate to tell you, but he was rather fond of going down the pub. Well, one day something happened that was to change his life. He went up the mountains to have a look at the sheep who were in the process of lambing. Spring had come, and everything was going well, when all of a sudden, down the mountain, he saw a man on a white stallion come riding. And the man on the white stallion took things far too fast. He saw somewhere to jump, so he jumped over the stone wall and he fell. And Sean, being a sensible sort of a fellow, went over to him, picked him up to see how he was, and because Sean had done it right, he and the horse were looked after properly. So as the man left the field, he thanked him, and he said, I have a reward for you. He said, I will offer you my daughter's hand in marriage. Wow, thought Sean, that sounds a good offer. So he went home and told his mother. He said, next Thursday, I am to be married to a girl who is beautiful, intelligent, and bright. And she said, good heavens, for you, she said. Well, anyway, Thursday came and she put her posh hat on and went down to the church, and Sean stood and waited at the altar. Then he turned around and he looked, and sure enough, the bride was everything he had thought. She was beautiful, intelligent, and radiant, and he thought, oh, how wonderful, he thought. And the wedding ceremony went really well, good songs, and a good sermon. It was all very nice. And then, of course, came the wedding feast. And the wedding feast was even more magnificent than Sean had ever imagined he would ever have. And then, in the course of the wedding feast, his father-in-law took him to one side. And he said, I have something to tell you. He said, at the back of the barn there is a door, and that is where I have stored my wedding presents to you. But please, don't show it her for another 5 years. Now, it so happened that in actual fact, that Sean and his bride got on really very well, and it was quite idyllic that first year of their marriage. And then she happened to say to him, I'd like to see what's in the back of that barn. Would you? He said, would you really like to see it? And so they went over to the barn, and he said, but I'm not supposed to show you it. I don't care, she said, but there's something about her. She was so plaintive that he gave in to her. He opened the door, and out of the barn came a wonderful dress, a beautiful shimmering dress with all sorts of pearls and jewels embroidered all over it. There was a mirror, and there was a fine book. Now, I hate to tell you that that girl's frivolous enough to choose to wear the dress first. She put the dress on and she swirled around and she said, oh, I look so lovely, she said. She went out and she looked at the cottages that surrounded their house and she said, I don't want to live with these peasants anymore. I want to go somewhere that is fine and splendid. I will go to England where the money is. So off she disappeared. Oh, thought Sean, I have lost my lovely. What am I to do? Well, he started down the road to England, and the first thing he came to was actually, he came to a fisherman who was sitting by the banks of the river fishing. And he did that silly thing some fishermen do. He caught his fish and then he dropped it onto the bank, unhooked it, and left it there to wriggle itself to death. Oh, Sean was not having this. He picked the fish up and he flung it back into the river. Well, the next thing that happened was he went a little further and he came to a meadow, and he stood in the middle of the meadow, and high, high above him he heard the song of the lark. Now, I don't know whether you know this about larks, but the thing about larks is that they build their nests very low on the ground. So two boys had come along and they'd standing by the nest, and they started to want to kick it and crack it and smash it. I'm not having that, said Sean. So he took the two lads and he said, out with you, you can't do a thing like that. And the boys disappeared. They were quite alarmed by him. He went a little further, and this time he came to an oak tree. It was a splendid oak tree, and he suddenly been there for a good 50 years. And then he saw two men coming with a saw, and they were starting to saw the tree down. He said, "You don't do that. Look at it. Look how old it is, how beautiful it is. Please leave that tree alone." So the two men put their saws down, and off they disappeared. And he thought, "Ah, well," he said. At last he had come to the place where his bride was. So he realized that she was amusing herself by inviting young men to come into her palace and play games. And her favourite game was hide and seek, because of course she always won this game, because she had the magic mirror that would show her where everything was. So Sean had put on his hood and his cloak so she didn't recognise him, and he invited himself to play the game. So she said, "I'm going to give you 3 goes." She said, "because I know perfectly well I'll win everyone." So off he set off on the first round of the game, and of course he came to the oak tree, and he thought to himself, "I know what I do here." He climbed up the oak tree and he hid in a great canopy of oak leaves. Despite the fact she had the magic mirror, she couldn't even see him as he was, stuck in the branches of the oak tree. So he went a little further, and he came, of course, to the lark. Now, I'm afraid at this point in the story, you're going to have to believe me, although it doesn't sound very realistic. But what happened was the lark flew down to him, and he got on the back of the lark, and up the lark rose high, high up into the air where he usually flew. And of course, she couldn't see it in the mirror at all. One more go. I think I'm going to manage this. He went further, and he came, of course, to where the fish was. Now, the old pike remembered him, and he'd hidden himself under the green slime that floats on top of rivers. So he put himself down into the green slime, and he lay under the green slime. And of course, she couldn't see him. Again, the mirror had let her down. So he went back to the court, and he stood in front of her, and this time he felt proud of himself. So he took off the hood, and he stood there. And she looked at him and realised it was her husband. And suddenly she realised something. She realised she had missed him terribly. She realised that she'd been very foolish because he'd been the kindest man she'd ever known. So she thought, what can I do to save myself? So the one thing she hadn't done was she had never taken the book. So she took the book and gazed at the book, and there in the middle of the page was a phrase which said, "Cunning is clever, but kindness is best." Of course, as she said. And she ran across the room and flung herself into his arms, and so they embraced. And I don't have to tell you any more, do I? You know what happens next. It's a good old-fashioned traditional story. They lived happily ever after, and that's my story.
Thank you, Jan. A lot of you will know she's no stranger to Winterfest. She was at last year's spoken word event, and she's I think she's done really well there today as well. So coming up now is someone I met when I first came to Brightlingsea in 2018. Exactly 1 month after I moved in here, on the 25th of February, I got to have a play at the Winterfest. The acoustic afternoon in number 1 Harbour Square, and this lady Jane Tomsett, she was also on the bill, and we had her last year. I'm not sure about the years in between. I know she's no stranger to Winterfest, but anyway, so let's well, we'll carry on with Jane. Hang on a second. Someone's just sent me a message, which is just sorry about this, chaps. I've just got a slight thing. Sorry about this. I just a slight little technical hitch there, and I shall get Jane to go live.
I know that donations are split between the Mid and North Essex Mind and Brightlingsea Wellbeing Fund. So I'm sure I'm live now. This is so strange. So I'm actually going to start. This is my song about a factory cat, and it's called Randall. So I hope you like it. And now I'm shaking. Oh gosh. Okay. Up to the rooftops, that's where we go. When all the shadows fall beneath the bright moon's glow. Follow me softly now, follow me round, follow me up to the roof, far removed from the ground. The factories are quiet now, there's no one left, all except you and I, like two strands of weft. We shuttle from side to side, we bubble weave like the tide. Up to the roof we glide, up from the crowd down below.
So we have a bit of a technical hitch here. I will get Jane back on as soon as possible. Hang on a moment, please, people.
We make our way to the top, to lift sacks, our bodies sway. You follow me step by step, you dance and you pirouette, you pose with minuet, I dance a little too, yeah. Follow me round now, stay by my side, follow me softly now from this world behind. Follow me round now, my feet on earth, follow me softly now as we head to the sky. As we head to the sky. Thank you very much. That's really one of my favourite of my own songs now. We've got a little cat of our own now called Jessica. I wrote that before, but anyway. So yeah, feline friends. There's nothing quite like a feline friend. So anyway, this is Catch the Train. I've made up my mind, I'm gonna catch the train. to come home, back to the safe and warm. There's never gonna be a perfect sky. There's never gonna be one for you and I. I've made up my mind, I'm gonna catch the train. I'm gonna face the day, it's worth all of the pain. I know your heart is tired and worn out from the storm. I need to come home, back to the safe and warm. There's never gonna be a perfect sky. There's never gonna be one for you and I. My mind's made up, I've made up my mind. I've made up my mind, I'm gonna catch the train. I'm gonna catch the train. Thank you very much. Catch the train. I haven't been on a train for quite a while because of coronavirus. So I look forward to getting on a train again in the future. So this is a more recent song. Stuart Skinner, who was on earlier, is my music producer, and so there is an album on the way, and as soon as we can get together again, then recording sessions will resume. This is a song that's been recorded on there, and it's called Diane. Oh, Diane, we can make a plan. We can create a star that will travel far. Oh, Diane, you can build your dream. You can tread along that beam if you want. If you want, you can climb the tallest tree. Just stay strong. Stay strong. You will see. Oh, Diane, we can build a bridge. We can create a ridge, but it high with gold. Oh, the taste stand. Please take my hand, then have the courage to thank you very much. That's Diane. And yeah. Anyway, so I hope you like that. So we're going into strumming territory now, and this song is again going to be on my debut album, and it's been recorded, and I jumped the gun a bit because with the recording it was, you know, nicely finished off, and so I had a music video made for it, and if you would like to see it, it's on my YouTube channel called Jane W. Tomsett, and this song is called Do I Make Much Sense to You? Thank you. Sorry. That was just these things are quite nerve-wracking, I have to tell you, so I'm going to start that again.
All the things we've both never said.
Thank you. Do I make that sense to you? Yeah. That's a good question. So I think I've got some more time. So this one, this again, will be on the album, and it's called Rosetta, the Busker's Song. By 6 o'clock yesterday, I'd made a dime, was about to lose my heart, call it time.
up my money, your eyes met mine, and I began to loosen up quite well. I began to loosen up quite well. Well, we laughed and we joked, and I started again. My voice never croaked, and I sang myself bend. Beauties I wrote way back when, before I covered the sky, before I covered the sky. Oh, Rosetta, I'm so better now. You're my beacon, I won't weaken. Oh, Rosetta, I'm so better now. You are speaking my language. Well, by 6 o'clock yesterday, I was almost ready to die. You appeared out of nowhere and you told me to fly. I believe in myself, and now when rivers I cry, I feel fine. I said, I feel fine. Oh, Rosetta, I'm so better now. You're my beacon, I won't weaken. Oh, Rosetta, I'm so better now. You are speaking my language. Oh, Rosetta, oh, Rosetta. There we go. Thank you. I'm not seeing a message come up to tell me it's time to finish, so presumably I can continue. I'm sure it's coming up to that time. Anyway, thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful to be part of this event. I really do appreciate it. It's a great event. So this one's called In the End. We can laugh, we can sing, we can talk all night. We can run, we can walk, we can just make light. When the lives we lead, we can enjoy ourselves. But in the end, we just
once again, thanks very much for being allowing me to be part of this event. And although I'm not seeing anything from Jevon telling me it's over, I should imagine it is, because when I timed this earlier, it worked out to 20 minutes. This is really strange. So I'm going to finish there anyway. So thank you very much, and thanks. It's been a wonderful occasion.
And thank you, Jane, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, time is moving on. We have some more spoken word, and then after that, don't go anywhere, we have got something a little bit different for you. It's a couple who I met last year. They did perform at last year's Winterfest at the Railway on the spoken word afternoon, I think it was. Yeah, and they do all sorts of things. They do tap dancing, they've got drums, they've got guitar, they sing beautiful harmonies, body percussion, and all sorts of things. So that is really something very different and well worth sticking around for. So without further ado, I will pass you over to the spoken word. I'll let them all introduce themselves because there's too many for me to mention.
I'm Mike Matheson. Got a poem here for you. This one, actually, I wrote quite a while ago, a long poem called "Tell Me Wi-Fi" about the internet and its various pros and cons. But I kind of felt today I wanted to write something that was a bit more stuff that's come to me recently. So this is a kind of add-on to that one called "Tell Me Wi-Fi" Part 2, maybe. It's all about Zoom, where we are. Now, here we go. So here we go. Tell me Wi-Fi, Zoom, the poem. Right, Zoom was a rocket lolly when I was a kid, I mean. And now from the state of Hollywood, it's put us all on screen. I'm in new office uniform. I hope I won't be rumbled. In just my on-trend bamboo pants, fresh from the Amazon's jungle. In contact, but not quite as we know it. Though you see a friendly face, the closest you get to a loved one or a colleague's curated bookcase. Your words are sung out suddenly, or you're freezed like a sci-fi baddie, not quite the frisson of the flesh, one screen away from reality. There's a break on spontaneity. You hesitate or you talk over, but it can send love over a distance, like a line to the new Mars rover. So tell me why, tell me Wi-Fi. It proves communication is more than meets the eye. So tell me why, tell me Wi-Fi. Text come to the rescue on my island, lets me fly.
Hi, my name's Harry Miller, and I'm a member of the Ellipsis Writing Group as well. And I have one novel published under the name of Harry Wilding. You can find it on Amazon. Here's my piece based on some of our flash fiction that we do when we meet weekly. We set a theme usually just by plucking some words out of a book. And this one turned out, well, this was based on 3 different ones, which turned out to kind of fit together. So I made them into one piece. And it's called Other Coasts in Winter. Morag stands shoulder to shoulder at the long rough trestle with her sister Janet and the other women of the village. The raw January wind whipping about their thinly clad forms. Diagonally knotted shawls try to leave their shoulders. Their sleeves are rolled up and their arms glint with salt and scales in the winter light of a freezing morning. In each woman's hand, a knife flashes, almost too quick for eyes to follow, the speed of a million practiced repetitions. Hands are red and blue with cold. In an eternal rhythm, the herring plop from their flashing knives into the barrels placed in front of the table. The gulls circle, are screaming overhead, luminescent against the grey sky, their eyes gimlet upon the fish entrails. Every so often, one boldly dives, and the women wave their arms to bat them away. Morag pauses for a wee moment to run the end of her ragged shawl across her nose, where an endless drip turns it to raw meat. She glances behind her to the babe in the wooden box on the cobbles. She sleeps still, wee-swaddled Maggie, her face pinched and her breath tiny plumes in the raw cold. The sky darkens, and Morag resumes her endless rhythm of gutting the fish. Behind her, Rabbie comes down the line of women with the herring cart and gently indicates to her to step aside, allow him to tip more fish to the table. As they spill gleaming and slippery, she pushes them along to her sister and friends, each woman taking a mere moment to chap their hands or wipe their wind tears from their faces as the river of herrings slides along the top. Fish scales glitter on their skin like the adornment of mermaids. Storm coming, Rabbie mutters, putting a hand briefly on Morag's shoulder, stooping to look at his child in the fish box on the cobbles. Morag glances at him and returns his touch as he turns away. Thank the dear he's ashore this day at least. Hush, my babe, my little one, thy father sails the deep. Maggie croons, rocks and croons as her own mother once did, half remembered 30 years before. Maggie's floating thoughts at this wee small hour as she intones the old tune turn to the notion that we learn these things at our mother's breast, imbibed with her milk, never to be forgotten. She wonders which mother in the great procession of her own ancestors was the first to intone these gentle words, balm to sleepy children and dread-filled mothers all. The wind whips about the harbour wall and batters the row of stone cottages that turn their ragged faces to the sea. Here she sits and spins sleep like the softest of yarns in the last cottage but one, tucked between the Nevards and the Dewars, her neighbours, both fathers also at sea this stormy night. Somewhere in her soul she remembers the cold of sleeping in a herring box cradle on the hard. At least wee Gwen is warm. In the dull light of a clouded moon behind a faded curtain, as the child's sweet mouth suckles the air, falling into sleep away from her breast, Maggie rocks the bairn still without breaking the spell. This child is the last for sure. Even if Dougal returns this time, there will still be another sailing and another. He will not relent. But Maggie has read the clouds, the changing tides, throw of the rack, portents as clear as runes. The sea will claim him some day soon. Gwen steps up off the gritty road onto the cobbled hard, belting her old wax jacket close over the inherited Aaron sweater, doing up the top button against the cold, even though the roughened edge of the collar chafes at her chin. She fumbles and tugs a while at her scarf to try to close the gap where the icy air seeps in. The wind whips about her. Her eyes are drawn as ever to the horizon, dim and indistinct as it is this January morning. He'll be on his way into shore by now, surely. Usually he would be here at first light, laden or not. She scans for any sign of the forget-me-not. A glimmer would be enough to reassure her and send her back indoors, where widowed Grandma Maggie sits with wee Doogie and Megan. The wail of the siren starts from the Coast Guard station, rising to be whipped by the wind. Gwen shuts it out as long as she can, doesn't want to hear it, but it insists. Her heart drums behind her breastbone. The first fierce drops of rain begin to fall. Megan's phone is buzzing in her pocket. She pulls at it and fumbles, but too late. A missed call from Mum. Megan sighs. She imagines for a moment the little living room at home, her mother Gwen sitting in the gloom, the picture of Dad on the old sideboard, that ugly thing that takes up too much space in the tiny cottage. Home. Home ingrained in her soul, but left forever. She looks about at the wide space of her kitchen diner, the children's toys neatly shelved in what Megan likes to call the play corner, at the gleaming white of her units, at the tasteful mid-century graphics on the cushions. She checks her phone for the time, nearly school time. Evie, she calls. Her wee little girl raises her head from behind the sofa. Oh, there you are. Time to go and fetch your brother from school, sweetheart. The child comes round the sofa. She has her small Playmobil boat in her hand. Can I bring Forget-Me-Not with me? Of course you can, Hinny. Now let's get your coat. It's cold out there, cold enough to freeze a herring girl. A herring girl? What's a herring girl, Mummy? Pipes the sweet child. Megan sighs. A little guilt seeps into her breast. When we get home, how about we call Grandma and you can ask her what a herring girl is or was. Would you like that? Evie nods. Megan strokes her hair and pulls her little pink puffer coat close about her small form, zipping it up. Now, hood's up today. It's blowing a blast out there. The little girl takes her hand as they step out into the cold January afternoon. There you go.
Thank you. That was lovely. Right, we now have an act I was mentioning before, Kid Hyena. Now, I met them last year, just around the time of the Winterfest, and they performed for us at the Railway. And so this time, obviously, they've done it at home. They are a couple, so that's how come they are able to meet up, because they live together. So there's all COVID safe and all that. I will hand you straight over to them.
Hello, Winterfest! Welcome to this Kid Hyena show.
Sadly, we couldn't live stream this gig, but we've put together this show featuring old and new material, some of which features monologues that have recently been written and then converted into songs using body percussion, tap dance, congas and guitars and all this stuff. So we hope you really enjoy this. We also have a competition with how many prizes?
3 prizes.
The first prize is for people in the Colchester area, and that is if you get all 3 questions correct, then you have an opportunity for us to come to your house and play a gig or a venue of your choice. So that's to people in the Colchester area. Then for people in the wider world, there is an opportunity to win a Kid Hyena beanie. And there are also these lovely download cards, prints, and it is of our new album Gravitate, which has recently been remastered and sounds awesome. So all this is for you guys. The questions will appear throughout the gig, and basically you can enter the competition by answering the questions and sending us a message via Facebook or Instagram, and the first person or the first set of people with the questions correct will win the prizes. Okay, so enjoy the show, and here's Living to Tell the Tale.
Enjoy.
Turning tail.
Ojos tristes, luz de carne y hueso. Ojos tristes, puedo hacerte preso. Ojos tristes, no dejes que te cubran de tu propio fuego. Ojos tristes, luces de sonrisas. Ojos tristes, no son de mentira. Ojos tristes, fundirse en el agua. Me sube la cima. Me sube
This second song is called Rental Blues and is basically a nostalgic or unnostalgic look at renting across the ages. And it features the first question for our quiz, which is, let me see, can't remember.
What do I end up farming?
Yes, so what do I end up farming? What do I end up farming? That's the first question of our quiz. Enjoy the song. 1, 2, 3. Dear landlord! Dear landlord! When I was 18, I slung my guitar on my back and hitched down the motorway to the big smoke just like that. There's no fear in my eyes, only a glimmer, 'cause the rent on the horizon would be affordable, it was a given. Around across my fair bed of trouble, like wonky staircases and a bed in a rubble. But you know what, I took it all in my stride, 'cause that's the price you pay to avoid the slip, the slide. Deposits exchange hands were never returned, like one they'll charge for a door that never been opened, seen or heard. Council taxed, young and free, with 50p in a pocket for that electricity key. I wanna be renting, not venting, I'm stuck here comprehending that the price paid for a room I had. Sorry, will take my breath, the landlord, what gives? The landlord, what gives? I'm feeling the slip, the slide. By the time I hit my 30s, things have changed much. To be a single habituated man meant counting the pennies each day it does. And so London had become all about sharing. But when your flatmate dresses like a BG from Camden, you know a new place needs ensnaring. And so I knocked on another devil's door, hung my photos on the wall, and there was a peasant box with garage views, dripping taps, leaky pots, and the Wi-Fi connection was poor. Just up the road lay middle class land, every flower was clipped the same, all lived semi-detached. And so I thought, is this to what I aspire? The Truman Show, the right internet, why? I wanna be renting, not venting, I'm stuck here comprehending that the price paid for a room on my head. Sorry for take my breath, dear landlord, what gives? Dear landlord, what gives? I'm feeling the slip, the slide. Dear landlord, what a resounding note came the bouncing off to the country in a breath of fresh air to farm my own chlorinated chicken and GMO pears. But how expensive come those forest views when the Queen owns the land? It only adds to those rental blues. So let's try abroad in the Mediterranean Sea with my guitar on my back, Barcelona to be packed like sardines. But it's okay to pay well over odds in a gentrified cosmopolitan place, especially when you can get soy milk at your local cafe. And hear your neighbour send your Airbnb, who's driven out the locals with his localised economic dream. How can it be that a working family, after paying the rent, cannot feed? I want to be rented, not vented. I'm stuck being commented. The prospect for rubber my head. Sorry for take my breath, dear landlord. What gives, dear landlord? What gives? I'm feeling the slip, the slide. Dear landlord. Dear landlord. Dear landlord. I'm feeling the slip, the slide. Dear landlord.
Okay, next song is Path of Resistance, which is quite a new song as well, and it's about non-conformity and how through this you build up strength and power and security towards yourself. I hope you like it.
I choose the path of resistance.
Mira niña, coge el camino con más roca, no es que la rosa te va a pinchar. Mira niña, el canto que trae tu llanto es el cascabel que me muestra la verdad. Cae el sol en mi piel de hoy, manchada de esquivar tanto bache. Me araña, me muerde, me rompe, me rasguña. La rosa me mostró lo que escondía su ternura.
I choose the path of resistance when I open my eyes to the heart of the morning.
Mira niña, aprender a querer que no es una suerte, es cultivar tu resistencia haciéndote fuerte. Mira niña, saber no ocupa espacio, recuerda que las cosas del palacio van despacio. Cae la luna, se vuelve ruina, una inoportuna mensajera. Me resiste con astucia, me muestra lo que existe, con su ejemplo me insiste.
next song, it's called One Life, and is a celebration of life. Now, it has the second question of the quiz, which is...
It is... What sailed as the sunset bloomed? What sailed as the sunset bloomed? One Life. As a start in midday, sing the song of a luck and purchase. No one is a boat that never reaches the shore, or a child who won't cry out for more. As rare as a clown that cannot smile, or cork without guile, is a line that never out of this cage, or book without a pace. This life is given to me. One life is living through me. This life is given to me. One life is living through me. One life is given to me. Pack it up, roll it in as wet as a foot that's never ever danced, or a gambler will not take a chance. It's tomorrow, it's never seen it today, or an arrow that does not know its way as a leaf. You'll never catch the breeze, or a secret that will not keep. Will not keep. This life is given to me. This life is living through me. This life was given to me. One life is living through me. One life was given to me. Pack it up, put it in. Hey, hey, one life. Hey, hey, this life. Hey, hey, one life. Hey, hey, this life. As red as a wind that will never see the spring or a mountain. Without a peak or a heart, you will not be broken or questioned. Without an answer, as red as a clock that doesn't strike time or a journey. Without an end or a spirit, there will never be release. Never be released. One life. One life. This life was given to me. One life is living through me. One life was given to me. Pack it up, brother. This life was given to me. One life is living through me. One life was given to me. Pack it up, brother. This fifth song is called Peasant Lives and is based on a monologue that has recently been written also, and it's basically a tongue-in-cheek look at life through the ages through the eyes of political history and consumerism. And does it have a question?
No, it doesn't have a question.
No question. What? Hey, yeah! What? Hey, yeah! I was born before the time of land rock. We're joining you can ride this chop around the block. 2 years before Bigger Max, 3 years before VHS. Michael went himself in the winter was a whole lot cheaper than North Sea or land on the streets. Things were simmering to the boil. A cassette recorder could keep the tink quiet, but was not enough to stop a punk rock ride. 3 day week kept us all in the dark. With annexation, one account and the Iron Lady came to sell us all off. It seems the human costs don't matter to a top. Peasant life, another born in a peasant life. Peasant life, rap royal peasant life. But now it's the 80s and I'm one of Thatcher's children with a digital watch and a girl next door is hooping. Socialism is loose on the door, all around people are down in tools. Argentina invade the Falklands and Tottenham win the cup. We're two Argentinian heroes and the IRA can't get enough. Miners, unions, grabbers, loads on the dole are all under par. Don't forget to pay your poll tax and say thank you, sire. With my BMX sport and I dream one day of making it to MTV. You see, Band Aid has rocked my world. I want to be Freddie Mercury. Peasant life, never born in a peasant life. Peasant life, rap royal peasant life. So that's gone. The circus man is here to help live away the way. There's no really does it here. But did we sell arms to rock? The Royals were there for some increase their charm. Some mad cows are running around like the Titanic. The Conservatives slowly sinking with a whole lot of them on their face. They're stinking. step, and now terrorism is on our doorstep. In the name of what? In the name of who? As you hide behind your crusader cross, watching the world catch fire. On YouTube, there's no nostalgia left between these words that would be more fake news to disturb. For a war when it takes so much come undone. And who could have guessed it? This country I love. So I'll suck on my alcohol and think of Brexit. The Right Honourable David Cameron and eat some chums.
Is called Stop, and it does have the last question, which is,
what will the character in the song never forget? What will the character in the song never forget? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to us, for being there, watching us through the screen. No, it's not ideal, but at least we can do things like this these times. And yeah, we would like to thank as well all the organization of the Winterfest, and thank Jevon, is the person that we've been in touch with, for putting all this together. And yes.
Yeah, if you've enjoyed the show, then you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. We're at Kid Hyena. But more than that, if you visit our website, www.kidhyena.com, you can subscribe to our fan club base and mini record label, where you can hear much more of our music and watch loads of videos. And there we will also keep you posted on things that are happening, hopefully including gigs out in the real world in real time. That will be amazing. Okay, so thanks again for everybody tuning in, and take care.
Bye.
Well, wasn't that amazing? Completely different to most other music acts. Right, we're now coming up to our final spoken word. So we are coming towards the end of the show. We have one more music act after that, the headliner, who are the Gin Twins, who are well known to Brightlingsea Winterfest, I believe, and they are housemates. So again, they are allowed to meet because they meet every day because they live together. Anyway, so yeah, they're going to be playing. Well, they'll be playing after this.
Hi, my name is Peter Riley. Thank you to invite me along for the spoken word afternoon for Winterfest. I'd like to thank Jan Williams for inviting me and Jevon for doing all the Facebook Live and the Zoom recordings. Thank you very much for that. The story I'd like to tell today, I'd like to dedicate to someone, if that's possible. A friend of mine who passed away in January, Betty Blower, at the grand old age of 97 years young. She was a founder and producer for the Seaview Players, which is in fact where I met her. And I was lucky enough to be in a show with her called The Good Doctor, one of the shows she produced, written by an American playwright called Neil Simon. And it's a lot of playlets based on the work of the Russian writer Anton Chekhov. And what I'd like to do today, if possible, I've experimented and tried to turn one of those little playlets into a story, which I'd like to present for you today. So if you bear with me, first of all, it's the first time I've told it, and secondly, it's the first time I've tried to turn a play into a story, if you like. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that wherever Betty's watching it from, she enjoys it as well. So here goes. The story starts on a late summer's evening, just as twilight is setting in, and there's a gentleman in his late 50s standing on a harbour, not unlike the Hard in Brightlingsea, and he's looking out to sea. Perhaps he's been for a walk along the seafront, or perhaps he's just come down to gather his thoughts, and he's watching the sunset, and then he turns and he starts to walk home. And just as he passes two buildings, out of the shadows in the alleyway between them, he hears a psst, psst. Excuse me, sir. Could I have a quick word with you, sir? Well, the gentleman turns round to see an old sailor. Well, someone who was maybe once a sailor. His clothes are a bit shabby, and his hairs get a little bit long, and he's got a couple of weeks' worth of growth on his chin, maybe a sailor who's a little bit down on his luck. And he says to the gentleman, I was just wondering, sir, if you might be in the mood for a little entertainment this evening. And the gentleman says, I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. Of course you do, sir, says the sailor. A little entertainment, a little diversion from the norm. I do not know what you're talking about, says the gentleman, and you should know better than to make a proposal to a gentleman as myself. Good day to you, sir. And the sailor says, yes, perhaps I was right, as he backs back into his shadows. Maybe what I was going to suggest is a little bit too much for a man of your sensitivity. Well, the gentleman says, oh, wait a moment. The sailor spins round and says, I got you with that last one, didn't I, sir? Now, says the gentleman, I would just like to inquire as to the nature of this entertainment of which you talk. And the sailor said, he looks around, he gets him really close to the gentleman, and then just above a whisper, he says, how would you like to see a drowned man? I beg your pardon, says the gentleman. A drowned man? Yes, says the sailor, a drowned man. A man with his lungs filled up with salt water and stone dead from drowning. How much would you pay to see something like that? Pay, says the gentleman. Pay to see a drowned man? I wouldn't look at a drowned man if you paid me. Why would I want to look at a drowned man? Well, the sailor says, £10. That's all it'll cost you. A tenner. To see him first on dry land, then in the agonising act of drowning, and then floating, face down, in the water. I beg your pardon, says the gentleman. The man is not yet drowned? No, says the sailor. Dry as a bone. In good health. The drowned man is me. The gentleman's a bit taken back by this. You want to charge me £10 to watch you drown? You'd like me to pay to watch your own suicide? No, no, says the sailor. No, you've got the wrong idea. I don't drown. I impersonate a drunk man. I jump into the icy cold water. I splash around a bit. I go under. I bob back up, kicking my legs in the air. And then I go under one more time and float up, face down on the surface. Oh, it sends a chill down your spine. £10 for individual performances. Special rates for groups. Show starts in 10 minutes. Shall I book you in, sir? The gentleman says, I cannot believe I'm standing here listening to this. Negotiating the price to watch a drowning. There's a policeman over there. If you don't leave me alone, I'll have you arrested for harassment. No, says the sailor. I'm sorry to have bothered you, sir. And he backs back into the shadows again. The gentleman's just about to return home when he thinks, maybe I should inform the policeman of what's going on here. Perhaps that sailor might try to coerce someone else into it. So he walks over to the policeman and says, excuse me, officer. Good evening, says the policeman. This is going to sound a little bit bizarre, but there's a man in the shadows over there. I think he might be a little bit deranged. Oh, yes, says the police officer. You get some very, very shady characters around here at night time. Perhaps not the place for a gentleman yourself. Yes, says the gentleman. He's just tried to make me pay him £10 to watch him drown. £10? £10, says the policeman. Why, that's daylight robbery. I was on my beat in Clacton the other day, and you can get as good a drowning as you want for £5 and not pay a penny more. In fact, there's two brothers for £5 each. They'll put a whole ship down for you. £10 for a drowning? No, 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 sir. £5 your limit. You have to stick to your limits with these gentlemen. Enjoy yourself and have a good evening. And with that, the police officer walks off. Well, the gentleman is thinking that the world has gone mad. When beside him, he hears it again. Psst, psst. It's the sailor. I noticed the policeman has gone, sir. What did you tell him? Well, says the gentleman, I told him that I thought you were mad. Sadly, he was slightly madder than you are. Well, says the sailor, I do appreciate you not causing me any trouble. And, in show of gratitude, I'd like to drop my price to an all-time low of £7. You thief, says the gentleman. £7 drowning, I won't pay more than £5. Oh, says the sailor. £5? But where's my profit in that? It's £3 for my towels and £3.50 for the person who fishes me out. I'd be losing money. I might as well stay under. No, no, says the gentleman. £5 and not a penny more. Very well, says the sailor. £5 it is. I hope to God that my son doesn't want to be a drowner. Well, the gentleman pays the money and says to the sailor, where would you like me to stand? Oh, right here, says the sailor, just on the edge of the jetty. That's where you'll get the best view. Well, says the gentleman, it's very, very dark down there. Yeah, well, that's what makes it so eerie. Anyway, all the action's in the last 5 minutes. Well, I hope you enjoy the show, sir. If you do, tell your friends. I'm here until Friday. Oh, just before I jump in, I had to remind you, when I come up for the third time, will you shout at the top of your lungs, Clive Rodacre! Clive Rodacre! I beg your pardon, says the gentleman. Who is Clive Rodacre? Well, says the sailor, he's the guy that fishes me out. I can't swim. You're going to let me pay to watch you drown and you can't swim, says the gentleman. Yes, yes, well, that's what makes it so exciting. Clive always leaves it till the last minute before fishing me out. He's over there in the cafe having a drink. Clive Runacre, don't forget the name. Well, here we go. In the soup, as we say in the drowning game. And with the splosh, he jumps straight in. Arms flying around, legs flying around, he goes under. He comes back up with his legs flying around. The gentleman's quite enjoying himself. Very good, sir, very good. Can you move over this way a bit so I can see you a little bit better? Oh, yes, that's very good. That's very good. Yes, yes. Oh, that's the third time you've gone under, isn't it? What on earth was that gentleman's name? Thank you very much. That's The Drowned Man by Neil Simon.
Right, I'm Mike Matheson. Do the last one here for the moment. This is I sort of have sort of different relationship with this poem. I sometimes think I'm not so keen in it, but again, other times I do like it, and I'm glad of it. And maybe it's appropriate again. It's called "Believe in the Possibility of Hope." This one's called "Believe in the Possibility of Hope." When the bus is late, when you've lost the vote, when you work and the world seems ungrateful, believe in the possibility of hope. Pick up a screwdriver, weigh up the figures, embark on the rigorous instructions and believe in the possibility of hope. Dance with conviction against your mental arthritis. Reply with dignity when you feel ridiculous. Believe in the possibility of hope. Lift failure like a hard-won prize. Keep digging till something surprises you. Believe in the possibility of hope. When you're uncertain, when the map is upside down, know you're at the foot of a beautiful mountain. Believe in the possibility of hope. Don't be shy of naivety. Don't be wary of necessary levity. Believe in the possibility of hope. Apartheid, the Berlin Wall, the 1,000-year Reich was 12 years long. All fatal, all forever, all gone. Believe in the possibility of hope. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. That's the last of the spoken word. Well done, Mike. I like that one. And right, without further ado, we are going to have the Gin Twins are going to be on live any moment now. So
Jevon.
There's a little bit of lag on the feed.
Oh.
Hang on. Hello, folks.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yes, we are Gin Twins. We're Jim and Ellie. We've got to do a couple of shout-outs very quickly before we get started. Can I have a shout-out, please, for Cousin Jean in Nottingham? Hello, Cousin Jean. And also one for Charlie in Scotland. Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
Thanks to everybody that's joined us today. Can I draw your attention to the link, which should hopefully be directly above our heads? PayPal, Brightlingsea Winterfest. If you'd like to make a donation, obviously that's going to be a wonderful thing, and it's kind of the point of this.
Yeah.
Righty-ho, apologies for the delay at the beginning. There's a bit of a lag on the feed, and I think we're just going to get cracking, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right, the first song is one called Katie Cruel, and it's by Karen Dalton.
Yeah, Karen Dalton. She was a bit of a Janis Joplin, wasn't she?
She led her life, that's for certain.
Yeah, okay. When I first came to town, they called me the roving Jew. straight down the road till I come, till I come, till I come, till I come to my heart's If I was where I would be, then I'd be where I am not. Here I am, where I must be, where I would be, where I should be, where I would be, where I could be, where I should be. I will know. When I first came to town, they bought me drinks of plenty. Now they've changed their tune, and they hand me, yes, they hand me those bottles empty. If I was where I would be, then I'd be where I am not. Here I am, where I must be, where I would be, where I should be, where I could be, where I would be. I will know.
Boom. That one's called Katie Crawl by Karen Dalton.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of the first things I did this week when we started practicing this gig is break my fingernail.
Ah,
My
no.
thumbnail. I'd be whining about it every time anybody cares to listen.
It's okay. It's okay. So yeah, any comments or anything that you've got, guys, just ping them in the chat thing below.
Hello, Louisa Charrington. We love you too.
Hey, Lulu. What's up?
I started tuning this bloody thing 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Right. This one's called Cherokee.
Yeah, this is by a chap called John Morland. Yeah, an American chap. I guess I got a taste for poison. I've given up on ever being well. I keep minding the horizon, digging for lies I've yet to tell. And I wish you were here, softly say my name, calm down all the chemicals tearing through my brain. I don't think I've missed you this much since I was 17. I call you in the morning, but I think this is a dream. Cherokee, Cherokee, will you carve those doubts right out of me? I see you shining through the treetops. I don't feel you pulling strings anymore. I still use your old alarm clock. Every morning I get further off the course. Don't I hear you speaking in the noises in this house? Airplanes flying over, shaking all my secrets out. Darling, tell me something I don't already know. I'm aware of where to find you. It hurts too bad to go. Cherokee, Cherokee, will you carve those doubts right out of me? It felt like the world was burning. You had stars in your eyes, shining for a feeling that I can't afford to buy. Everything you taught me still rattles in my head. I'm staying off in Main Street. You're talking to the dead. Cherokee, Cherokee, will you carve these doubts right out of me? Baby, please. Baby, please. Baby, please. Baby, please.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was
Cherokee by John
Cherokee.
Morley.
Yeah. I think we're going to go for an original now. Let's just.
This one is called
Polly Jean.
I'll bet hello to my mother and my mother-in-law if they're both watching. It'll be my mum's first time on Facebook, I suspect.
Hi, Jim's mum.
Right, Polly Jean.
Polly Jean, Polly Jean. Wherever did you go? Polly Jean, Polly Jean. You put a spell on me so. Found myself a lover, happy as a cloud. Then she went and left me. I'm the saddest girl in town. Ooh. Lips that shame the red rose, a sea of raven hair. You ain't played with fire till Polly Jean's been in your bed. Polly Jean, Polly Jean. Wherever did you go? Polly Jean, Polly Jean. You put a spell on me so. Said Polly, said Polly Jean, said Polly, said Polly, said Polly Jean, said Polly. Well, it's I surely swear to you that one's been a dagger in my side. Well, once you've tasted hellfire, you'll be wishing your water turns to wine. You'll find her dancing on your grave, scratching at your window as you sleep. Well, Lucifer himself begged me, won't you put some rays on Polly Jean? Said Polly, said Polly Jean, said Polly, said Polly Jean, said Polly Jean, said Polly Jean. Won't you put some brains on Polly Jean?
Polly Jean, that's a
Yeah.
Chin Twins original. Mummy's on it. Hello, Mum. Hello, Sylvia. You've got to watch your language now, Ellie. No swearing.
Okay, no swearing.
No swearing.
Which one? Okay, this one. Yeah.
Okay, next one by the Smashing Pumpkins.
For the grunge bunnies out there, people stuck in the 90s like me. Saw you with a smile, cut you like you want me to, cut that little child. Side of me is such a part of you. The years burn. Oh, the years burn. I used to be a little boy, so old in my shoes. I used to be a little boy, so old in my shoes. What I choose is my choice. What's a boy supposed to do? The killer in me is the killer in you, my love. I send this smile out over to you. The killer in me is the killer in you. Send this smile out to you. The killer in me is the killer in you. Send this smile out to you. The killer in me is the killer in you. Send this smile out to you. The killer in me is the killer in you.
Yeah, wow.
Wave. And all that with a wonky capo. Right, it's time to cause some trouble. Fancy some teardrop.
Yep. Oh, not that one. This one. So, I think people might recognise this one, especially.
If it's going to go wrong, this is where it's going to go wrong.
Of course. Join in at home. Yeah, so that was a teardrop.
Thank you very much. That's
How are we
teardrop.
doing?
We've
So,
got a bit of peach, I think.
yeah.
Which way round do you want to do it?
Don't mind, whatever you want to do. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, got some PJ Harvey now.
Yes. Hope everyone's having a nice Sunday.
Yeah, the cover, I think Vicky Williams asked which the cover is. The one we just played is Teardrop. There was a couple before that. There was Disarmed by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Cherokee by
John
Moreland and Katie Krul, Karen Dalton.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And now we're on to Rid of Me by PJ Harvey.
Yeah.
I'd just like to draw everybody's attention again to the link at the top here, the PayPal link, Brightlingsea Winter Festival. It's a charity event, and it'd be really nice if people can put their hands in if they've got it. Obviously, it's hard times, so do what you can. Anyway, PJ.
Yes.
Yourself to me. No one else, no, you're not rid of me. Yeah, you're not rid of me. Night and day, I breathe. You're not rid of me. Yeah, you're not rid of me. Yeah, you're not rid of me. Yeah, you're not rid of me. I beg you, my darling, don't leave me. I'm hurting. Let my legs, I'm on fire. Let my legs off desire. I'll tie your legs, keep you against my chest. Oh, you're not rid of me. Yeah, you're not rid of me. I'll make you lick my injuries. I'm gonna twist your head upside till you say, don't you wish you never met her? 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 I beg you, my darling, don't leave me. I'm hurting. I've been lonely about everything, about every day. I'm hurting. Let my legs, I'm on fire. Let my legs off desire. Let my legs, I'm on fire. Let my legs off desire. Yeah, you're not rid of me. Yeah, you're not rid of me. I'll make you lick my injuries. I'm gonna twist your head upside till you say, don't you wish you never met her? 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 Let my legs, I'm on fire. Let my legs off desire. Let my legs, I'm on fire. Let my legs off desire.
So yeah, that one was PJ Harvey, And now we're going to do our last one, which is a new one. So we're going to have a crack at a new one. So yeah, it was cool.
Sonia, we're still trying to work out who sings what at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm surprised and some interesting vocals.
Yeah, why not? Jazz Jim.
Jazz, darling.
Yeah. So yeah, we're the Gin Twins, by the way. So we've got a Facebook page. So if you like us, send us a message or find us on Facebook or something. And just thank you for Jevon for having us. Really.
Yeah, Jevon, thank you very much, and you're doing a great job of organising these events. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Righty ho, brace yourselves.
There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday.
Guess what I've got to do?
Tune up.
Yeah.
Start again. I'll start from the verse.
Second verse.
There's a little black spot on the sun today.
That's my soul out there. I've muffed this completely, haven't I?
It's all right.
We're going to start again.
What time are we on?
Goodness knows.
We're good. Okay, let's do
It's
this
all right,
one.
they can't run away. Well, they can turn off, I suppose. Right, let's go for it. From the top.
There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. There's a black hat caught in a high treetop. There's a flagpole rag and the wind won't stop. I have stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running round my brain. I'm always hoping that you'll end this rain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. There's a little black spot on the sun today.
That's my soul up there.
It's the same old thing as yesterday.
That's my soul up there.
There's a black hat caught in a high treetop.
That's my soul up there.
There's a flagpole rag and the wind won't stop. I stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running round my brain. I'm always hoping that you'll end this rain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. Oh, oh.
There's a fossil that's trapped on a high cliff wall.
That's my soul up there.
There's a dead salad frozen in a waterfall.
That's my soul up there.
There's a blue whale beached by a springtime sand.
That's my soul up there.
Butterfly trapped in a spider's web.
That's my soul up there. I have stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running round my brain. I'm always hoping that you'll end this rain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. There's a red fox torn by a huntsman's pack.
That's my sword up there.
There's a black-winged gull with a broken back.
That's my sword up there.
There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. I have stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running round my brain. I'm always hoping that you'll end this pain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. King of pain. King of pain. I'll always be king of pain. I'll always be king of pain. I'll always be king of pain. King of pain. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jevon.
Okay,
Thank you very
you.
much, Brightlingsea. Thank you. I'm going to do.
Well, wasn't that fantastic? Well, everybody, that is the end of the show. Thank you very much, Jim and Ellie and everybody else who has performed today. There's a list too many to mention, but I think you all know who you are, and well, you know, you can always watch it again on Facebook, and don't forget up the top there, somewhere about there, you've got the link for the PayPal. So now you finish enjoying yourself. We'd love it if you can, even just a few quid, you know, just price of a cup of coffee. If loads of people did it, that's a fair amount of money, isn't it? Doesn't have to be a lot. Thank you very much, and we will see you again.